Maid of Honor kicked out of wedding on wedding day. Things escalate. I tried to warn the bride that her bridesmaids' dresses wouldn't work for me, but she insisted, and now she's pissed because I look like the bride. I'm supposed to be the MOH in tonight for a wedding. My husband and the best man, and we've been friends with this couple for a long time. The problem is now I'm being kicked out for being black and my husband wants to step down as best man because of it, and it's causing a whole thing. To clarify, because it's important, the bride is not racist in any way, she's just kinda dumb for refusing to listen. My skin color is the issue, but not because she has a problem with it overall, but just because she didn't realize that my skin would make a dress look different on me than on others. She has had this vision for her wedding forever apparently. Her bridesmaids' dresses are nearly identical to her wedding dress in style except a different color. And on the bridesmaids' dresses the detailing stops at the waist and they are not laced up in the back. My dress as MOH is an exact carbon copy of hers, just in the other color. Here's where it gets to be a mess. She picked this color the company calls morning gray for her bridesmaids' dresses. Morning gray, for anyone wondering, is like a soft pastel gray that's about a shade of white. On the other bridesmaids the dress absolutely looks gray. A very soft, very ethereal gray, but a gray nonetheless. All the other bridesmaids are also white. I'm not only black, but as I've been to the beach for another wedding this year, I'm darker than I normally am. Against my skin the dress undeniably looks white. Like the only way you can tell mine is actually gray is if I'm standing directly next to the bride and the dresses are side by side, then you can see mine is slightly gray and hers isn't. Now the bride ordered all of the dresses and picked the color herself. I tried to tell her she should order mine in a darker shade of gray, because I've been down this road before where I've been accused of wearing white at a wedding, because a dress I wore looked white in the sunlight even though it wasn't. She insisted that she had her cousin try it on and the color was perfect and you could easily tell it was gray. I tried to explain to her that her cousin is the color of printer paper and that it would look different on me, but she was unwilling to have her vision modified. Now she's pissed at me because even though it's clear hanging with the other dresses, mine is the same color as the other bridesmaids. She has decided the only option is to kick me out of the wedding so I don't upstage her. However, she wants me to give my dress to one of the other bridesmaids, which I said I was fine with, as soon as she reimbursed me the money for it. $350 compared to the rest of the bridesmaids who paid about $125. But then one of the bridesmaids promptly pointed out none of them could even wear my dress. I'm not huge, but I am incredibly top-heavy. I wear a 34H bra, which is part of why my dress was so much more expensive than the other bridesmaids, the other part being the extra detailing. So none of the other bridesmaids would be able to keep my dress up even if the lacing was pulled as tight as it would go. So now she's decided I have ruined her perfect wedding, screamed at me and told me that not only am I not in the wedding, but she doesn't even want me to attend as a guest. Which pissed off my husband because, 1, she was warned. I even sent her photos of a dress I wore that was almost the same color to a different wedding, and 2, because he doesn't want to attend a wedding we traveled for without me and he thinks it's bullshit since she insisted on the dress color. Update. Same day. So, after I posted, things got ugly and the groom called everything off. I initially offered to dye the dress since I was the only person not getting my hair done. My hair has been damaged more than once by stylists who don't know how to handle the texture, so I am very limited in who I will let do it and instead usually do it myself. The groom thought this was a great idea and even offered to pay for the stuff needed to dye it and let me use his parents' place to do it. While he went to go talk to his parents, though, my now ex nixed that because then I would stand out even more, so I asked what she meant by stand out even more and a whole lot of truth came out. Apparently she initially hadn't wanted me in the wedding at all, but her ex-fiancé is one of my oldest and best friends, and my husband was one of hers. That's why we introduced them to each other in the first place, because we thought they would hit it off, and they did. Anyway, because my husband was the closest thing she has to a sibling, she really wanted him to be the man of honor at their wedding, and initially ex-groom said that was fine and he would just have me as a best woman so things would look balanced and 2 men didn't have to walk down the aisle or whatever. She really didn't like that, so they decided to switch us up. No big deal. Except, apparently it was because I'm the only person of color in the whole wedding party, and one of very few who will be at the wedding at all, and I'm going to stand out in every single picture. I asked her what about the groom's parents. The groom is white, but he's adopted by a black couple and is quite close to both his biological and adoptive parents, but if you ask who his parents are, he always says the people who raised him. Her theory was that his biological parents would be in the pictures, not his adoptive parents. Well, when the groom came back and heard this, he flipped out, and then she said the dumbest thing she could have said. Apparently it's not his fault, he had no control over who adopted him and the pictures should just be real family. Well, at that point the groom had heard enough and told her that they were his real family, and he couldn't believe she would say that. She was not the person he thought she was, and he was not marrying her. She gets pissed and tells him he's being ridiculous, but his parents can be in some of the photos, and they will take some without. He tells her again that he is in no way, shape, manner, or form marrying her after what he heard, and in fact he wants nothing to do with her. She gets upset and says well she's at least going to go have fun at the reception. He reminds her that he and his parents paid for everything including the reception and she is not welcome, and he will be informing the security of that fact. The bride runs off and tells her parents what he's saying and doing, so they come out guns blazing and all to confront him, but apparently she didn't give them all the facts because when he laid it out for them they were appalled. Her father literally tore her a new one, talking about how she was not raised that way and he couldn't believe this was the person she had become. They apologized to the groom, offered to pay for half of the wedding, and they left with their daughter. So we spent the afternoon with the groom, several of the bridesmaids, and all of the groomsmen, who were all equally shocked by her behavior. I'd say we were consoling the groom, but we weren't. He was too busy ranting about dodging a bullet. Last night we went to the reception, partied until like 3 a.m. and had a great time. As for the dress, I have an event later this summer and I'm going to dye the dress and wear it for that.